Hey guys, I'm back with a new video. In this video, let us solve the problem to check whether a string is a palindrome or not. So let us first understand what a palindrome is. So back to the whiteboard. Consider this string, Alex. So a palindrome is a string when the reverse of the string and the string itself match with each other. So if we calculate the reverse of this string, we get XELA. And this string definitely doesn't match with this one. So these are not palindromes. Consider this example. So we need to check whether this is a palindrome or not. If we calculate the reverse of this string, we get this. And they do match. Both of these match. So both of them are palindromes. Consider this string A, B, C. And then D, and then C, B, A. So here you can see the first character matches with the last one, the second last character matches with the second character, the third character matches with the third last one, and here at the center we have D. So if we compute the reverse of this string, we get A, B, C, D, B, A, and both of these exactly match one another, so they are indeed palindromes. Now let us understand the approach that we will be taking for solving this problem. So we will be using the two-pointer approach. To solve this problem in time complexity of order of n. 2. Now here we should have C as well. Now let us take this string as an example. So A, B, C, D, C, B, A. Now in the two-pointer approach, we need to take two variables. So first we will have I variable, and let us set this to 0. And then we will need another variable j, and this will be string length minus 1. So string length is here is 7. So 7 minus 1 will give us 6. So at index 0, we will place our I, and at index 6, for this string, we will place our j. So we can reference our characters by using these indices. Now we will match the character that is sitting at the index I with the character that is sitting at index j. So for a match, we will simply increment I by 1 and decrement j by 1 because there is a match between these two a's. So I becomes 1 now and j becomes 5. Now this p that is sitting at index 1 matches with this p that is sitting at index 5. So for a match, we will again increment the I variable by 1 and decrement the j variable by 1. So I now becomes 2 and j becomes 4. So now at index 2 we are having the character C, and at index 4 we are also having the character C. So again there is a match. We increment I by 1 and decrement j by 1. So I now becomes 3 and j also becomes 3. So we are now at D, right? So we will continue this process as long as our variable I is less than j. Now if you see, I is now 3 and j is 3. So 3 is not less than 3. So our condition breaks, that is I less than j. And we will simply come out of the loop that we will be using for this two-pointer approach, and we can simply return true, which means that this string is indeed a palindrome, right? So let us write the code for this one. So question 3, check whether a string is a palindrome or not. So function is palindrome, and this will take on a string as an argument. Now here we need two variables that we discussed just a while back. So let I as 0 and another variable j, string1 dot length minus 1. Now we need to repeat the process of checking for the characters as long as I is less than j. So while the condition I less than j holds, we will continue checking for the characters. So here we need a if check. So if the character at the index I does not match with the character at index j, then we can immediately return false. Otherwise, if the character at the index I matches with the character at index j, then we can simply increment I by 1. So increment I by 1 and decrement j by 1. So decrement j by 1. Now when I becomes equal to j, we come out of our while loop and we can return true, which means that the string that was given to us is indeed a palindrome. So let us try this out. So console.log is palindrome, and here let us say A, B, C, D and C, B, A, and then let us try for another string as well. So let us run our file, and here you can see for the first string we are getting true, and for the second string we are getting false, right? Because this is indeed a palindrome, whereas cat is not a palindrome. So this is the entire implementation for our isPalindrome function. So let us quickly do a dry run for this. So here let us take our string again, A, B, C, D, C, B, A. Now the first line says that initialize I with 0, and the second line says that initialize j with string length -1, which for this string is 7 minus 1, so 6. Now as long as the condition I less than j holds, which is 0 less than 6, so this condition holds, we make it into the while loop. So the character at the index 0 is small a, and the character at index 6 is also small a. Now since there is a match, we increment I by 1, so I becomes 1, and we decrement j by 1, so j becomes 5. Now we go for the second iteration where we check for I less than j, which means 1 less than 5. Now the condition still holds true, so the character at the index 1 is small b, and the character at index 5 is small b as well. Now since there is a match, we again increment I by 1 and decrement j by 1. So I now becomes 2 and j becomes 4. So now we are on this C and this C. So we again check for this condition. So 2 less than 4. Now the character at index 2 is C and the character at index 4 is also C. Now there is again a match. We increment I by 1 and decrement j by 1. So I becomes 3 and j becomes 3 as well. We again check for the condition. So the condition now becomes 3 less than 3. Now this is false. So we immediately come outside our while loop and return true, right? So here at index I3 and index J3 we have the character D. So this is how we check whether a string is a palindrome or not. So this was all I wanted to cover in this video, where we discussed how we can check whether a string is a palindrome or not using the two-pointer approach. So let's catch up in the next video with more such interesting questions.